Engines fired up and ready to help it soar. Flight 370 takes off from Kuala Lumpur. Mayday, mayday, dangerous lithium-ion battery fire. 239 lives at risk, situation so dire. Lost contact of this Boeing commercial airplane. Faulty satellite data being the weak link in this chain. 20 superconductors, scientists on this flight. Does that have anything to do with it? It just might. 1, 2, 3, plasma orbs coming out of nowhere. As the 777 smoke's falling out of the air. Binary motion imagery and military infrared showing us more and even more being left unsaid. 0-point energy, that's the technology to these EVOs that are defying gravity. 3 orbs with dark lasers pointing the way as they teleport Malaysia Flight through 70 away. Where did it go? What's the notion? Which island? Which ocean? It didn't crash in the sea or land. 4th orb out west for this flight of hand. For 4 days the passengers' phones were on. Who's responsible for these people being gone? Classified documents like a sales promotion. Debris found impossibly in the wrong ocean. Dark energy, ether cold fusion, 0-point energy. Not solid, liquid or gas, the plasma is the key. A paradigm shift in our technology. An unlimited reservoir of energy flowing through the air round and round as we stand helpless on the ground. Orbs of light defying what we were taught. We've been lied to by science is my next thought. Whistleblowers dying or getting disappeared. Heads of industry saying nothing to see here. Isn't that just a little weird? By humans this was created and engineered. 1, 2, 3, plasma orbs coming out of nowhere. As the 777 smoke's falling out of the air. Binary motion imagery and military infrared showing us more and even more being left unsaid. 0-point energy, that's the technology to these EVOs that are defying gravity. 3 orbs with dark lasers pointing the way as they teleport Malaysia Flight through 70 away. The ether is real. This is the spiel, the truth will come out. The truth will be shown. What happened to Flight 370? Around the world it will soon be known. Even more being left unsaid. 0-point energy, that's the technology to these EVOs that are defying gravity. 3 orbs with dark lasers pointing the way as they teleport Malaysia Flight through 70 away. The ether is real. This is the spiel. The truth will come out. The truth will be shown. What happened to Flight 370? Around the world it will soon be known.
I'm just gonna real quick go over a couple things real quick today on how to look up some stuff so you can make your own conclusions about what's going on in Minnesota and also in your local community. Okay, so I know I talk a lot about the one Minnesota stuff, so we're just gonna search up. You want to do the quotation mark. I'm gonna put in one Minnesota conference. Okay. Yep, I misspelled it. Oops. But there's an article from Minnesota Post. So I'm gonna pull that up from the DFL. Okay. So I was going to go with those ones real quick. Okay. And so then here, you can read it for yourself. Okay. The time meeting of the legislature that's closed to the public. Peter Callahan wrote it. So, like, these things exist. They do happen. You know, and that was in February of 2020. This is right as COVID was kicking off, right? And they get together and Uh, that is outside of when the State of the State address and the Board of Regents happened. Okay. And it's at the School of Humphreys School of Public Affairs, and it's the One Minnesota Legislative Policy Conference. So I'm also going to search that right there. It's going to go boop. Oh. Okay, then I'm going to end quote. Yep, there we go. And so you can see all its parts, right? Landon Foundation, right? And then you get to a lot of cool stuff. Okay. But there's not that many because, yeah, see, wait. This was what link? The 2015 one? Let me do that one more time here. Okay. I was going to click on it. 2015. And it goes to the 2021. Okay. And then let's go down. I don't know how we got to. Oh, yeah, because we had done it open ended like that, right? So let's click on that one. Wait, you see that? 2015 goes to 2024. How did that happen? Huh. Let's just see. Final one, Minnesota. I have screenshots from before, and it said something about 2015. They must have updated it. That's interesting because on the Internet Archives it says 2015. Anyway, so it says right here that the project was for their fourth annual conference held in 2010 from the Blandon Foundation. So that's who helps fund it. Oh, they also support the Board of Regents. And the conferences. So if you want to know, then you go look up, okay, well, who the Blandon Foundation is, right? Like, and you look at what other things that they're funding, okay? So they're funding the reducing of carbon emissions, okay? At the same time, they're funding the Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Like you can see how they end up funding this stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to share these tabs. Okay, we're gonna go over here. This tab right here is that. This is the Blandon Foundation. Okay, at the U of M. So this one right here at the top, the link to this one used to say 2020 or 2015. And what I was trying to show on this tab, I think I did, was yeah, it clicks to the 2024 one. But yeah, their agenda on here, you can see who all like hangs out, right? So they had breakfast, and Aaron Murphy was the leader there, right? Okay. Minnesota's economic and demographic realities. This is pushing the immigrants because we're going down in demographics and they're running people out of the state through taxes and stuff. They're doing that on purpose to replace people that will vote for them, but also fill those lower positions that aren't going to be able to be automated as quickly. Because according to Walls, they wants people to like pay taxes and wipe his butt. Right? That's the reason why he's all loving immigration. So, yeah, but the state economist, state demographer, the early childhood stuff. I mean, right, and a lot of this stuff is the fraud stuff too that ends up happening because then the people know what's yeah they give this out to their people as far as here's where the grant areas are going to be for this year for the funding. Okay, um, but yeah, down here, business perspective, Doug Baker, introduced by Lisa Demuth, right? Deanna Witt was there. Yeah, that Deanna Witt. Um, Children's Hospital, same Children's Hospital that's big into trans and kids. Um, oh yeah, the homeless stuff, housing stability, the fraud. This is the fraud guy, right? I mean, come on here. You know, uh, economic and workforce development. Uh, there was more fraud there. Uh, Southwest Initiative Foundation, that's your RDOs. Okay. Environmental infrastructure, that's U of M. Okay, I wonder what that's about, right? What their leanings are. We already know, right? And that's Mark Johnson that did that. So, like, yeah, but that was also planned back in 2015. Right up here where it says final one MN, it used to have an underscore 2015. So they've actually edited this, and I can show you on Twitter in a minute here, dude, because I have the screenshots, which is really funny because they've actually gone back and edited things because they realize people are onto them. Which, whatever, dude, right? So here's the Blandon Foundation stuff. Okay, they're partners with the regions. Okay, but they do the One Minnesota conference, but then they also push issues like community assistance and um, sustainable stuff and reducing carbon and their conference again and forced biomass and whatever else, and then the conference again. And you know what I mean? Like right here, that's one of the people that fund them. McKnight's the people that started some of this too. Okay, so like here's another one of their partner stuff. Okay, and then you have this right here. Okay, um, Tom Stinson used to be the state economist. Okay, talking about the recession. I think this will probably paywall me out here in a minute, but anyway, like it talks about the stuff, right? and then they'll talk about the One Minnesota Legislative Policy Conference. Whoa, and that's the Tom and Tom. So what's that all about? We'll get there in 1 second, man. Okay, because we're gonna go back to this tab. So you go back here, and on the side, dude, it shows you when it started. So this was Paul Wellstone's death. They did another Horizons. And you go into Horizons history, it goes back a little bit further, right? And it goes back to 75. You know, yeah. See, it shows everything. Okay. And right here, I mean, like, come on, dude. And then you have the changing world, right? Demography. Like, they knew it was coming, dude. So they planned this stuff, right? Okay. In 83, they look at immigration issues. They decide this stuff, man. Okay. It tells you exactly what they've done. So, like, you can look this stuff up. Okay. Their past conferences. Whoa. Right. So you go to 2002, and here's what it looks like. You know what I mean? You just look at the people that were all there, dude, and what was going on. Okay. That, you know what I mean? It tells you exactly who they're all, impacts of immigration on rural communities. They've known. Okay. This is not, it was a plan. Okay. Reflections on 9/11 and all that jazz, right? Anyway, let's go to 07. This is the one that article is talking about. And Tom in here are the ones that did this. They're the state demographers. And that's the one I posted on X that I'll show you in a second here. Okay. Because I'm going to have to go to my profile and search real quick. Give me 1 second. Because anybody can do this stuff, man. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Because, like, they show you, okay? So when we talk about it's a uni party, this is the uni party, okay? The progressive Republicans that Arnie Carlson talked about. He was a big part of this stuff. Yeah, their equity analysis tool, even, okay? Okay, like, yeah, it wasn't just, Walls didn't just start this. Here's the source documents, okay? And I'll show you how to get to these in a minute here. Okay. But you have this was one of the first ones. They did this, okay. And in here it talks about how they wanted to set up basically like a feudalist uh parliamentary Marxist type system. It gets real weird, man. Um yeah, they have different acts too, right? And then you have the report of the Commission on Minnesota's Future. So, like, they have all these different titles and names that they have. Yeah, but check out. There we go. Do, 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 do. Yeah, right here. Oh, okay. I know why. Okay, so I have to go out like this, and I'll screenshot it quick. I'm not sure I can. Yeah, I'll share this tab. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, can you see that on top? It actually says 2015 at the top there. If you hover over it, um, hopefully you guys are able to see that on your end. So if you hover over the tab, it'll actually show you. Um, but you have to like hover over the tab. So yeah, that's in the top right. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to sharing this one. Yeah, so if you hover over the tab up top there, it'll actually say 2015. Yeah, that's where it gets it from. But anyway, this is the one I wanted to show you, right? So this is from 2007, and they actually planned the entire immigration pattern that they've done. And this was Democrats and Republicans because it's benefited rural as well. Because the rural folks have, like down in Austin, Worthington, I mean, like, they needed the workers and they needed the low income workers and they needed to bust the unions, right? And like, that's how they did it. It's nothing new, man. It's been happening for a very long time. So, like, yeah, they planned it. Woo. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like, we need to address this. It's not being bipartisan. Bipartisanship will get you this, man. Okay. That's all I can say on that, man. Like, it, yeah. Because they did the Cloward Alinsky Piven model. Um, they actually, here, I'm going to actually search that up on mine. Okay. Because the Cloward Alinsky Piven model. Oh, oh no. No, I don't want Grok to do that. That's what me and Troy and a couple other people named it because it's the cap agencies. Yeah, like they it's from eugenics, yeah. And what it is that they actually have documents where they said that they put in literally Cloward, Alinsky, and Piven helped their research in that helped make up the cap agencies, your community action partnerships. Okay. Um, and it gets real interesting because the cap agencies, they literally sourced Alinsky's model that he did with the Black Power movement, and then Cloward and Piven's model for uh, overwhelming the system with people that yeah, right here. Okay, the success of that, and um some of this stuff is stuff that uh literally came from Cloward and Alinsky. Okay, and this is, I think, from a speech from LBJ. um yeah, like you can go down the list on that. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find the other ones yet. Okay, I posted under something else. Anyway, so you can actually look up this stuff. Okay, like if you look up, then we're gonna go back over here to the search because I'm gonna show you guys how to look this stuff up. Okay, so then if you look up community, uh, action partnership, and then Piven. Yeah, and boom. You know what I mean? Like you start popping up with stuff. Okay, like and so like the funding this stuff, and they literally wrote the program on some of it, and then let's go with Alinsky. Okay, he critical of the OEO that Humphrey was in charge of, but it was set up based on his stuff. Okay, he he worked in the program. Okay, like they set it up based on him. So like you guys can find this stuff out. Okay, and then like look up Alinsky in your state or Piven in your state, right? Look these people up. Look up communists in your state. Look up, you know what I mean? And you'll end up finding stuff. Okay. Um, so let's go with Minnesota. I'm sorry. Future. And then governance. Okay. Let's go with that one. The redistricting stuff. Oh, Minnesota's government and future society. Let's check that one out. So, like, and then I'm just gonna search real quick for Alinsky. Oh, yo, changed political process, future revolution replaces traditional groups. Example: unions, parties, and community organization through an Alinsky style process, i.e., policy focused politics, which makes it or make policymakers more responsive to the powerless. Possible methods: fundamental constitutional overhaul to a parliamentary and unicameral system with separation of powers reduced sharply. Comprehensive organizational restructuring within or structure reorganization within the traditional framework. Continuing program of policy analysis. Okay. Specific desirable futures. Formation of local neighborhood councils as the fundamental unit for public communication and policy formulation determined by population base. Okay, conversion of regional planning commissions into regional policy making and project implementer on regional needs and issues. Conversion of central unit state government into a smaller unicameral full-time legislator that may elect a governor with the governor's cabinet coming either from the legislature or other body of the central unit, which will determine statewide policies, realms such as taxation, land use, resource management, education, economic development, transportation, health and welfare, and the capital. Okay. Just seen the Hunger Games, folks? I mean, come on here. Okay, but then they also wanted to create up the Humphrey Institute. Right here they did. And they put as the first head guy of it was Harlan Cleveland. And Harlan Cleveland was like a CIA operative, globalist, like futurist guy that wrote Agenda 21 and a lot of other stuff and the green energy stuff at the Woodlands Conference and was part of the Rockefellers population crew. And yeah, and then the Rockefellers are currently funding the DFL, like Dayton's ex, right? And Dayton was embedded with their family were embedded with eugenicists and stuff. Like, come on, dude. Like, we cannot do eugenics and genocide, I think. But I mean, we could just install these people as these like parliamentary overlords that we come on. We can just say no, I think. Or if you really want that, I mean, I guess we can have it out and have a discussion about it, right? I mean, like they're looking for a full-time legislator. I see where I'm going with it. Like they champion the future of government. Whoa. Like it's yeah. And then so we're gonna go with then back here. Future policing. Oh, here we go. Future policing. Whoa. Right. But then if you take Minnesota, you're gonna get even better stuff. Right. Because you just look up future of policing. You have the future police yeah. It gets into some cool stuff, right? With the plot cameras and that. Anyway. So Minnesota futurist. We're gonna go like that. Boop. Right. Oh, you're definitely watching this one real quick.
Last few days, hundreds of folks from around the world converged to share their views of the future. The World Future Society put the event together. There were economic predictions, studies of population growth trend, even some radical thinking that would change lives and careers of women. Futurist Dr. Arthur Harkins was one of the. We'd like to welcome him to Newsnight. At the top of the show, we mentioned you'll gaze into your crystal ball, and you hate that because that's not what you do.
I use the jawbone of an ass myself. It's more flexible.
So
less prone to breakage.
What makes you a futurist?
I think really most futurists are historians. They have to know the trends that led up to the present. Once they know that, they can begin to play with the trends of the future in a fairly well-grounded way. And that's where most of us come from.
So you look at demographic trends, you look at latest research happening in various fields, and you try to put some pieces together?
We look at trends that are, say, from one point to another with one field in mind. For example, microelectronics, or, for example, education or population. The real trick is to try to put these together and sort of weave them together to provide a larger picture or scenario of what would happen if these trends all worked in certain ways together. Of course, what would happen if they didn't? So I guess we're storytellers in that sense.
I saw in Futurist magazine, they had their top 10 predictions, and one was the Dow hits 40,000, okay, by the year 2016. How do you come up, how would a futurist come up with that 40,000 figure?
It would be a projection based on certain existing data from the past and certain assumptions about how those data will travel out into the future. Clearly, once you change the assumptions, the data can give you a trend line that goes any other kind of direction as well, down to below the current level, for example, of the market.
Now, this is not done just for fun or just for academic thinking. I mean, this is as practical applications.
Yep.
Businesses use people like you all the time.
Yes, they do. And they have people who are full-time staffers with the name futurist or with a similar type of name, long-range planner, strategic thinker, thought leader. These are some of the terms they use. It's kind of remarkable how that is a norm in business today. 25 years ago, I assure you, it was not.
I was thinking 25 years ago, there were a lot of companies that thought mainframe computers are the way of the future. I'm thinking of Unisys in particular. We did a series of stories about how Unisys was caught flat-footed by the PC revolution.
Sure, and Cray was caught flat-footed by phased arrays of smaller computers that would work together to become a larger supercomputer. The future is a tricky place, and it's just around the corner. It's the next couple of minutes and thereafter. So if you're not looking broadly at the kinds of things within your field and around your field that could affect your fortunes, you can get caught flat-footed, exactly as you said.
Now, one of the things that made the headlines, and this might give you folks a bad reputation, it's the talk of the career pill. The technology will soon exist so that a woman can delay menopause long enough so she can have a career and then have a kid at age 55, 60, something like that.
Well, that would presume that anyone would want to help her make a baby at that age, but that's another story, and I've just alienated half of you. No, I'm sorry. I think those kinds of options will become more common. Life expectancy should extend, life quality should extend, and that would include the capacity under, I suppose, dicey circumstances sometimes. Look at what's going on with hormone replacement and hormone therapy today. With dicey circumstances, it's not going to be all a great big bed of roses.
Half a minute to go. It's tough to get respect in your field because a lot of people don't quite know what your field is.
It used to be tough to get respect in our field. It's not tough out in the real world. It's tough on the campuses. It still is. And that is something that doesn't hold in engineering or medicine. It holds in the social sciences and humanities still. But those walls will come down.
All right, Professor, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Funny stuff, huh? Right. And then you have NPR News talking about some of the stuff. Consulting futurist Stephen DuPont. We'll start there. A brave new world of technology. Where is this? Holy moly, I don't even know. Right. Right here it tells you how they all want to do it. Okay. It's like you can find this stuff, right? Like going to share a different one now. Go over here. Oh, this was the cap agency stuff we talked about earlier. Yeah, so yeah, you can go through here. And it's the extension of JFK's program, but they changed it to where basically it was almost like money laundering and got like Alinsky and those guys in. So, yeah, it gets interesting. The cap movement through federal institutions. Right. Anyway, here's the futurist stuff we're going to go to. Okay, Minnesota futurist stuff, past meetings. Okay, where they meet, like, over here, tells about them. They want to reach out to students to take part. Right. So you can look through this stuff, right, and learn for yourself, man. Jack Aldrich. He's a global futurist guy. Okay. Like, yeah, he was the guy for this Office of Strategic and Long Range Planning under Jesse Ventura, right? Whoa. The Great Reset. The emerging age of reimagination, reconnection, and renewal. Like, they did it. Whoa. Right, guys? I mean, we can all work together and find this stuff, right? This was the one Minnesota stuff. Sorry, I'll go back to this one here. So yeah, they Arthur and this guy Naftalin, right? Harry Levander, thanks Jewel and Troy for that, right? But it's also by his wife Frances. Whoa, I think he was the mayor of some place or whatever. It goes through everything, man, right? And then you can come over here. Oh wait, that's the governance of deed. Sorry. Okay. I'll go back to here. But you guys can look this stuff up for yourself. Oh wait, we'll do the DFL one Minnesota stuff. In 2015, they talk about it. You know what I mean? And then Valenti was a part of it. 10 years of Connecting One Minnesota Conference for Deed. The Horizon 2009, right? Like, you can look up who these people are, and where they're at now. General Mills, Health Partners, Carlson Companies, Restore Products. I mean, Federal Reserve Bank. Like, you can look up a lot, right? And sometimes these links will work and sometimes they won't. Yep. Okay, cool. We are going to pull that up. 1 second here. So here is his PowerPoint that they did. So then you can actually like find the stuff, right? And see what they did. So let's see what they had to say, right? It's still loading. We'll go view slideshow. So if you want to know what they've been planning, I mean, like, hey, oh, they had a deficit and a shortfall, right? For 2009, 2010. Man, it's projected to go back up. Yep, it was planned. So wait, you got to realize though, this is right when probably a lot of the fraud started was the right there, and that did happen, right? It grew a lot. Uh-oh, and 2010 is when things went bad, right? They knew their solution was immigration. So budget pressures will change. It's a shortage. Like, and they also did it, as I showed you before, the that population projection, right, of immigrants, needing immigrants. So like you guys can go do this stuff and look this stuff up, right? We're gonna look up this Civility Caucus over here. That's one of the ones we pulled up, right? At the One Minnesota Conference in January 2017. Wait, so then 1 second here. I'm gonna have to pop back to 2017. So we're gonna pull up that one, right, and see what was going on. Like you guys can do this too, man. Okay. Healthcare reform, right? right here. Okay, so we're gonna look up this. In just a minute. So, or you can go look it up on your own. I'll leave it to you. See all this. Okay, but it was a bipartisan group, right? So, and it was sponsored by, I mean, like literally, University of Arizona. Those guys get interesting too, right? So then I'm gonna have to see where we were before that. Oh, the Civility Caucus. Here we go. Okay. Mitchell Hamline School of So here's Dispute Resolution Institute. Okay. And we're going to click over here. This guy right here is one of the main guys. And he is a Mossad agent. Okay. He trains counties on it too. He's the guy that goes out to the counties. So you have at least one Mossad agent in here. I'm not sure if you have any other foreign agents in here. I would be guessing that it would probably be more than one. His wife is Barbara Freese, who worked at Hubert Humphrey's office with Bobby Joe Champion and them back when they were still pushing Iran-Contra after we claimed it stopped. So, interesting connection there, I think. So, Mossad's involved with this. I'm not sure who Better Angels are, right? But, I mean, like, you can actually, like, find this stuff, man. Right? I mean, see how to be nice, whatever else. But then the commies turn around, they're commies. So, like, you can't negotiate with commies because, like, their goal is to tear down the system. So, if you're giving into one single thing that they want, you're tearing down the system, right? So, well, if they're going to tear down the system, then at least let's do a Republican form of government, not this corrupt bipartisan futurist crap where they determine what they want for us, right? I mean, I think we can just say no, folks. You know, yeah. Oh, let's be very, very kind. Like, come on, guys. Like, come on. Assume positive intention. Yeah, they're doing fraud. That's how they got. They're like, hey, dude, so the Mossad set up the fraud. Is that what you're telling me? With the Civility Caucus? I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about, but like, whatever, dude. That was right as the daycare stuff was going on, right? That was getting exposed, like that Phil helps expose. So, I mean, like, y'all can look this stuff up. That's all I'm saying. So, just like be blessed and stuff. And like, you can look up the stuff. you know, like just look up whatever term that you're looking at, right? Like Minnesota. Oh, said Minnesota futurist. Let's put in Minnesota communist and then college. Yeah, to go for communist, right? So they say that there was Nazis at the time, but they don't tell you that there was communists too. You know what I mean? Like, and then Walls is doing the same thing. Like, are you a communist in 2023? Is recruited on like University of Minnesota communist student, communists on campus. Okay, like I tell you what they're doing, dude. Like, I'm not even gonna click on this stuff, right? Um, and yeah, eventually you'll get to some stuff about Carleton if you look up socialism and communism or Marx, right? So it just gets interesting. Carleton, I think, is where Thomas L. Hughes went. He even became a big intel officer and stuff like that with the CIA and wanted to merge federalism and Marxism. And then, like, at a Carleton, you had the Carleton 12. Yeah, let me look that up real quick. The Carleton 12. An investigation by the International Committee of the Fourth International, right? Oh, wow. That's awesome. I'm going to screenshot that. Minnesota commies right out of Carleton, right? Like, anyway, dude, you guys be blessed. Have a great day. I think you can understand, but like, I think you got it. You can do it. You can learn how to look up this stuff on your own and be blessed and have a good day. I'm gonna play that song again on the way out, though. So